Play.
That was
Where's
almost
the
it.
nifty,
People-
That was all
Correct.
that, yeah.
Where's the nifty other shit?
Oh, well, if somebody else said it, it's probably.
Alright. Shark, shut up.
We're good. We're good, so.
Okay, you're on slide detail there. You understand the down button?
I do not, but I can figure it out.
Move the down button.
Second part to Sam Walton's speech. Everybody is still here. Rakasan. I'm not gonna take a picture of you.
Sharp side's in
Hey.
the way.
And there's me.
All right, good morning, everybody. Let me give you a brief block of instruction on the new promotion point system. Purpose of this system is kind of concentrate more on soldier skills, less on board questions, less on commander points. Okay. It's going to be effective date next June 1st, 2011. So you got a little bit of time, but I'm going to go over some of the changes to the program. Okay. There's no more DA Form 3355, okay? No more promotion point worksheet. Everything is going to be online. If it's on your ERB, that's what your promotion points are based off of, okay? Slide. Slide. Take a big slide. All right. Also, it's going to be based on your ATARs. Everything you do in the Army goes on the ATARs. It's kind of like the Army's transcript for you, all the kind of training that you've had. And also there's a program where all your training goes into. So your PT score, any kind of training you do on post, like fuel handler scores or whatever, goes on the training in your training room. So pretty much the training room has to have their records straight. They're no longer responsible for keeping up a promotion file for you. They just make sure your record's straight, and the ERB does the rest. All right. Slide. There's no more commander's points, all right? So it used to be there'd be 150 points for commanders. They're not doing that anymore. So if your commander recommends you, that means you're going to go to the board. There's no more board points. So our major and the first sergeants are just going to validate what the commander said. Hey, he's worthy to be a non-commissioned officer, or he's worthy to be a staff sergeant. Okay. So that's 300 points that went away, and I'll show you where those 300 points went to. Slide. All right. First thing we're going to talk about is military training. Entails combat experience, weapons, and APFT. Okay. The maximum for sergeant is 340 points. The maximum for staff sergeant is 255 points. Combat experience. Now they're going to give you points for your deployments. So every month that you're deployed overseas in the combat zone, which is OEF or OIF for us right now, you're going to get 2 promotion points. So pretty much if you've been deployed 3 years and you're a staff sergeant, you're pretty much maxed out on your promotion points for that field. So they're pretty much wanting to say they want you to reward you for your combat experience as well. Okay. Slide. For weapons, it's 160 to sergeant and 100 to staff sergeant. Slide. You also have to have a current weapons card within 24 months. Now, if you BOLO the range, you're not going to get those points anywhere. Okay? Is the chart on there yet?
Yep.
All right. As you'll see, 40 out of 40 obviously is your 160 points for sergeant, and then for staff sergeant it would be 100 points. And obviously back all the way down to marksman. Okay. Everybody tracking? Oh. Slide.
You got another chart.
Okay.
Slide?
Slide. APFT?
Yes.
All right. APFT, we got profiles, obviously still, that's pretty much the only thing that affects your scores on APFT. If you have a waiver for push-ups or sit-ups, you can only get 60 points in either one of those events. If you're able to do the 2-mile walk and do push-ups and sit-ups, then it's still the same. They average the push-ups and sit-ups. So if you max those 2, you could get still a 300 if you had to do the walk. But you only get 60 points if you can do just the push-ups or the sit-ups. Okay? Now the rest of that just talks about if you're given that opportunity to take a PT test and you failed it on your own negligence, you're not going to get those points back. Next slide. Should have another chart. Right. So that's the PT score scale. So we used to only get, what, 50 points for promotion for maxing your PT test. So now sergeant, you're going to get 160 points if you max it, okay? And then staff sergeant, you're going to get 100 points. So that's where those board points and stuff went to. So the whole gist of the thing is that they're going to give you more points for your soldier skills. So it's qualifying with your weapon, doing your PT, and your military education. Okay. Slide. Maximum for awards is 125 for sergeant, 165 for staff sergeant. COAs is still the same. You can get 5 COAs at 4 points apiece. They also have an additional airborne advantage. So if you're assigned to an airborne unit like Fort Bragg or Vicenza, Italy, anywhere they got an airborne unit, if you're a parachutist, you get 20 points. Senior parachutist, you get 25 points, and then master parachutist, you get 30 points. If you're assigned to that unit, and that's the level of jumps you have, you're going to get extra points, and that's in addition to the 125 to 155, 165. Next slide. And that's a little breakdown of the point scales. Obviously, the ones you probably guys are going to have to worry about is the RCOMs and the BSMs the longer you're in the Army, unless you do some really cool stuff. Next slide. On here as well, you'll see the cab. So that you guys in the Army a little bit longer, if you get the cab, you get points for that. Everybody should have a driver's badge. If you don't, make sure we get that done. All right, as long as we're having accidents out here. All right. Slide. Okay. Now, military education, you get 260 max for sergeant, 280 max for staff sergeant. You don't get points for basic combat training. You don't get points for IET. You just get points for extra schools. When I came up through the ranks, PLDC I think was like 18 points, and now WLC, BNOC, or Advanced Leaders Course and Senior Leaders Course, all those courses are 80 points apiece. So everything gets jumped up. They're pushing you to go to schools and stuff, okay? So that's where those points went to. So it went from 18 points to 80 points. Now, obviously, if you're a commandant's list, you get 5 extra points. They just add it to that point. They don't add it to the awards or decorations. It just gets added. Distinguished honor grad, 10 points added, so you get 90 points for each of those schools if you're top of your class. Okay. You're still going to get your Army Correspondence Course points. There's going to be, on the next slide, there's going to be a little scale. I'll show you that, but it's pretty much the same. You can still max out, but you're not going to. You got to complete the whole course now. You can't just do the sub courses. When I was coming up, you could just do the sub course, and now you can't do that anymore. So pick a course that's a small course, or doesn't have 18 different things. If it does have 18 different things, then make sure you know how to do them, because otherwise you're not going to get credit for it unless you do them all. All right. Along with that installation training, you're only going to get promotion points for the training that they have in AR 350-1. Okay. Next slide. This is a little scale. It shows you what you're going to be doing. This goes up to, I think, 320 credit hours for 63 points, but obviously that's how it goes. You get like 3 points for every 10 credit hours, right? Slide. Finally, civilian education went down. We used to have 1 promotion point for 1.5 credit hour. No, I take it back. 1.5 credit hours for every promotion for every semester hour. Now it's 1 for 1. So they still want you to go to school, but you're not getting as much credit for it. Max is 75 for sergeant, and max of 100 for staff sergeant. Everything's got to be on your ERB. If you're currently enrolled in school, they want everything to be on one transcript. So if you went to 18 different schools, they want you to send all those transcripts to that one school you're going to, so they can list all your transfer credits. Okay. Obviously, if you're not enrolled, you can have a bunch of transcripts, and then they'll go to the education center, they'll add it all up, put it on a memo saying so-and-so has so many credit hours, and use that for promotion. The biggest thing is, if just like for myself or Sergeant Martinez, if our records aren't straight to get looked at for E7 or E8, your ERB has to match everything that you have. If it's not matching for you guys, you're not getting your promotion points. Okay, so it's a big deal. Everything else is the same. Once it's all automated, it's going to go in a big computer in the sky, and they'll still spit out a list of how many A8 mics they need, and this is the cutoff score. Okay, all that's going to be the same, but it's going to be more automated. No more messing with the order.